Well, I think one of the messages is that there is a way out of all this. I and my party are continuing to campaign for this to be resolved through a people's vote, a referendum, with the option to remain. And if we do remain, hopefully this nightmare's over. Or if we go ahead, at least it has, the public have confirmed that that's what they want to do. I think at the moment the reason why it may be affecting mental health, I don't know whether she meant that literally or as an illustration, but was that it's the uncertainty. Literally within days of when we're supposed to be leaving, we don't know whether we're going to stay, whether we leave in a hard Brexit way or a soft Brexit way. I mean, it's terrible for business people and others who've got to make decisions, and it's not good for the mental health of MPs actually. Because I'm reasonably resilient, and I have a pro-Remain constituency and a pro-Remain party, so I'm comfortable. But there are a lot of people who are pulled in three different directions by their parties, their constituencies and their own judgment, and it's the stress is showing.
A lot of people were looking, hopefully, to a new centre party arising. With due respect to the Lib-Dems, sharing government with the Conservatives didn't help, but along comes this new group, the independent group. We see you talking to them. Is any of this going to go anywhere? Are you going to become bedfellows in Parliament, in politics?
Well, we hope so, actually. It would be sensible if the people who have the same broad approach to politics were to get together. I mean, they have novelty, newness, but they don't have any organisation or structure. They've got no experience in local government or indeed any kind of government, and we have. And if we bring those together, then you've got a very powerful force. Now, whether we're capable of doing it or they're capable of... We've extended the hand of friendship. Whether they take it and whether we do something with it, I think is now up to them.
You're a seasoned politician. Hand on heart, what do you think is going to happen?
You mean on Brexit or more generally? Well, I think the most likely outcome is that we do get some form of soft Brexit, that the government's deal is modified to incorporate a customs union. I think that's likely. My ideal is that we just drop the whole thing, and after a referendum we might do that. But I think if you're asking me to be realistic and make predictions, I think that the soft Brexit is probably the most likely now.
You don't think we're going to get a second referendum, 1 million people signing a petition, 6 million people signing a petition, 1 million people marching in London, all for nothing?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to play that down. That is what we're pushing for and arguing for and fighting for. And I'm hoping it will happen, and I hope that it will give us a way out. It will be messy and difficult because you can't keep off the ballot paper the so-called no deal option, which, if we're to believe the polls, a third to 40% of the public want. In my view, disastrous, but if there is, if this poll is to have legitimacy, that we've got to argue with that and make the case against it. No, I think there is a good chance of getting a referendum. I'm not predicting it as an absolute certainty.
You have said that at some point soon you will stand down. The Lib-Dems will elect a new leader. Surely that has to be an elected member of Parliament, because how else can the Lib-Dems argue their case in the Commons?
Well, we struggle to be heard in the Commons because we have 11 MPs out of over 600, so we don't get called very often. And the SNP from Scotland get precedence over us. So if we're going to make an impact with the public, it's got to be outside Parliament rather than inside it. But no, I will be stepping down. I've said I will do so after the local elections. I think we're gearing up to do well. And then there will be a process of choosing a new leader, and the rules are already being put in place.
Who would you like to see take over from you?
It would be invidious for me to choose a successor. That's for the members to choose. As I see it at the moment, there are 2, possibly 3 very strong contenders. 2 women, 1 man, and we've just got to let them fight it out.
Vince, what would you like your legacy to be?
Well, my legacy is partly in government, that I realise now I left behind some policies that I developed through the industrial strategy, the business bank and so on, which have survived the test of time and are doing well, and in a time which are very unfriendly to business. I think my business legacy is a very positive one. In terms of the Lib-Dems, I think I stabilised the party after 2 very bad general elections. We're now very much on the way back, particularly in local government, hopefully in national government if we get an early election. And I will be pleased if I've held us together and taken us forward.
How do you rate the party's chances here in Bath?
Very good. I mean, everybody I speak to, whether they're pro-Lib-Dem or not, tells me we will make advances here. The question is whether they make enough of an advance to take over the council. I mean, that is a big ask. They've got an awful lot of headway to make up, but my sense is that they will probably become the largest party and, with luck, have an overall control.
Brexit has really introduced a big wound into this country. There are other major issues that have to be tackled into the future. I mean, in this city, whichever party takes control, we have a clean air zone to introduce, the environment, many green issues that have to be tackled in the future. Would you like to see things sorted so we can get on with those other things?
The most frustrating and damaging thing about Brexit is that all of these other big issues are being pushed into the background. Environment, both local and global, with climate change, trying to get a world-class education system is being massively undermined by all the continuing cuts and uncertainty around it, and I would add that homelessness and house building is something we're just not sorting, and it's getting worse because of the lack of attention.